Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Chris Lafayette coming to you from an undisclosed location, Colorado State University, Engineering Department. Today we're going to look at lab number 9, parts 1 and parts 2. Now the first part we're going to demonstrate here is a shift register operation, and we're going to load numbers in data in the form of a number from register 1 then from register 1 we're going to move it to register 2, and then from register 2 we're going to move the number to register 3. All right, now a little background here. The first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 switches are going to be used for data, the keypad. The very first push button switch is going to be a reset button where we can reset the registers to 0. And the very last push button is going to be an enable for the G1 input. So let's get started. Right now we're in the position where the keypad is enabled, indicated by a 0, 0 on the last two switches, and a 1, 1 disables registers 1 and 2. So nothing's going in at this point. So let's enter the number 16. That's an 8. There's a 16. And what we're going to do is enable, nothing is in the registers yet. So let's enable register 1 by putting a 0, 1 into these two switches, a 0 and a 1. Okay, this should enable register 1, and when we press the enable button, we'll give it a couple of shots just to be sure it's in there. Okay, when we do that, we should have entered the 16 into register 1. Now, if we want to see what's in register 1, we're going to have to enable the outputs in much the same way. A 0 and a 1 on the output of register 1 that should enable the output of register 1. Now to show this, we're going to turn off the data, and the 16 should hold. Okay, and it does. It does. We do have a 16 in register 1. All right, so far so good. Now, we want to get that 16 over to register 2. So we're going to need to enter a 1 and a 0 to accomplish that. A 1 and a 0 and an enable. So a 1 and a 0 and an enable. We'll hit that enable just a couple of times to make sure it's in there. And again, a 1 and a 0 gets us into register 2 output. So we have an output in register 2 indicated by a 1 and a 0 on the output, and the 1 and the 0 is still enabling the input. So we have a 16 on register 2. Now we want to get that 16 from register 2 to register 3. And that's going to take a 1 and a 1 on the input of register 3. So let's do that. Let's set the G1 bits to 1 and 1. And we want to hit that enable real good, just to be sure that enable is working. Okay, so now when we look at the output of register 3, which is a 1, 1, there we go, 1 and a 1 on register 3 enables the output. And indeed, there is our 16. All right, so we went from the keypad of 16 entering onto the bus to register 1. Then we moved the 16 from register 1 to register 2. And then we moved the data from register 2 to register 3, which is what we're looking at right now. Now, I suppose you're wondering, now, is there really something in 16? Well, in all the confusion, I sort of forgot myself. So let's see indeed if that data is in 16 as we are saying. Now, since there's a 16 in there, if we hit the reset button, the data should disappear from 16. And here we go. 1, 1 is the output for 16. So we're going to hit the reset button. Indeed, if there was a 16 in there, it's going to go away once we hit the reset button. Voila, 0, 0. So there we have it, part 1, lab 9. And we're going to try to pause this and continue, but if not, we're going to have to make a new video. So we'll see you next time if the pause doesn't work on the video. Chris Lafayette, ECE102, Colorado State University. We're going to pause or restart for a part 2 of Lab 9. We are out.